Hello, loves. Welcome back to another episode of the Full Life by Rachel podcast. I'm so grateful to have you here. It's actually been quite a while since I've done a solo episode, so I'm really excited to record this. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet and to the point. But I wanted to talk about something that has come up for me a lot lately. Like I've mentioned on previous episodes, I've been going through a lot of shifts in my life, and for a couple months, I honestly was in a really dark place. I was confused, I was lost. But I always know that at the end of that confusion and those dark times, the dark night of the soul, as I like to call it, I always know that on the other side comes massive shifts and massive clarity. So I promise you that if you're going through something similar, stick it out, ride it out. It's not going to last forever. And at the end, you're going to understand why you had to go through that. But for me, coming out of that place, thankfully, I'm in a much better space right now. And most of what I was going through is because I've been going through so many internal shifts. I've been transitioning into a new version of me. And that sometimes can feel very scary because we don't like change as humans. We like to stick to what it is that we know. So when we're changing into a new version of ourselves, it can feel really scary, and we want to try to hold on to our past selves, and we want to hold on to what it is that we know to avoid that uncertainty. And there's also a lot of grieving that comes with that, grieving what we thought we wanted, grieving who we thought we were, grieving all of these things that come with the past version of ourselves in order to step into this new version of ourselves and get to know this new version of ourself and feel fully confident in embodying her. So that's what I was going through, is mostly internal work that I was doing, and I was just really confused with why I was feeling the way I was feeling for so long. And now I understand it, and I wanted to share one thing that I've learned with you all, something that I've been thinking about a lot. But before I do, I want to remind you, if you've been following along, if you absolutely love this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe, add it to your listen list so that you don't miss a new episode. And feel free to share with your family and friends who you think would enjoy this episode. As always, I love to hear when you post about an episode on your stories, or if you just message me directly on social media or email me. I love to hear your thoughts. I love to connect with you all. And if you're looking for a space to connect with other like minded individuals who are on this healing journey, on this wellness journey, on this self love journey, feel free to follow my Facebook group, the Full Life Babes Facebook group. You can either search the Full Life Babes on Facebook, or I will post the link in the show notes so you can just click on that and request to join. But that is a space where it's a lot more interactive than this podcast. Obviously, here I can't talk to you and like have a conversation back and forth. So, in that group, we can have more conversations. You can connect with other girls who are on the same journey as you. And it's just really nice to have a community of women who are on the same path. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, feel free to join. And I think that's all of the updates that I have. So let's get started. So, something that I've been thinking a lot about the past few months is how a lot of our suffering comes from always trying to manifest more, always looking for more, always looking for the next thing, always wanting to achieve more and more and more. And this might seem counterintuitive to a lot of the things that I talk about, because I love manifestation. I love talking about manifestation, but I really see manifestation from a different point of view than a lot of people do, than from like this, I guess, I guess the common things that you see on social media or in podcasts about manifestation. I have sort of a different perspective, and the more I grow and the more I learn, the more my perspective shifts. And the more I'm starting to realize that when we focus so much on manifestation, this takes us away from actually living our life. And of course, we are always manifesting But I think this idea that everything lies within us, that we are the only people who are in charge of our life and how our life goes, I think this idea can be super harmful because, of course, you are responsible for a lot of what happens to you, of what actions you decide to take every day in getting the life that you desire for yourself, in getting your health on track, in having the relationships that you desire. Of course, you're responsible for a lot of that, but your life is not 100% your responsibility. And what I mean by that is that we all have a path that we're supposed to go on, that we're here to go on. We all have a purpose. We all have a specific reason for being here. And a lot of that is in God's power. It is not in our power. And sometimes we are just meant to go on a certain path. We are meant to go through certain things, even if they feel really shitty in the moment, even if we don't want it to happen that way. And I think a lot of our pain comes from not fully surrendering to that and from holding on to how we want our life to look like and how we want things to go and how fast we want things to manifest. That is where our pain comes from. When we think that we are not where we're supposed to be in life, instead of surrendering to where it is that we are in this moment and enjoying our life how it is right now, and at the same time having faith that things will get better and you will eventually get all of those things that you desire. But when we're focusing on having to have all of that right now and in our timeline that we desire it, that is where our suffering comes from. And the reason that this has been coming up for me a lot this year is because at the start of this year, I had a plan for how my year was going to go, right? So, just like everyone, I love setting intentions, I love setting goals for the new year and having a focus of what I want to focus on for the year and what things I want to manifest and what goals I want to set for myself. And I felt like I was pushing against a wall for the beginning half of this year. I felt like things in my business weren't going the way that I wanted them to. I was trying all of these different ways to get my desired outcome. They weren't working out. Financially, my business was not in the greatest place and not where I wanted it to be. And this led me to being very depressed because things were not going how I wanted them to go. And I feel like this year, God has truly humbled me and reminded me again of who is actually in control. God. God is always the one in control, even though we like to think that we are fully in control, which again is very harmful. And there's so much peace in just surrendering to God and the plan that He has for your life and knowing that you're not alone here, that you don't have to carry all of the burden, that you don't have to be in full control of everything. There is somebody else that is guiding you and trusting that you are always being guided to the best possible outcome for you and for everybody else on earth and for your purpose. So, I feel like this year has really, really been enforcing that and instilling that in me, even though I've learned this before, even though I know this. But it's like I really, really, really finally, it's finally being ingrained in me this year. And I'm finally embodying that. And I'm noticing that a lot of the things that used to be so important to me are not important to me, and that's okay. And it's okay to shift and to change, but that's a whole other topic. So, when it comes to the topic of always feeling like you have to manifest and always achieve more, and why that is the root for our suffering is because it takes us away from the present moment. It takes us away from the steps into getting there. And it takes us away from this experience of life because we are here to live. We are not here to magically just have everything we want on a silver platter. And this is something that I ask all of my clients actually. And recently I've been asking them this even more is if you got everything it is that you desire. I need a sip of water. One sec. That was a big sip of water. Um, so if you got everything it is that you desire right now handed to you on a silver platter, everything just showed up, What would be your motivation for moving through life, for waking up tomorrow if you just had everything that you desire? So you might be thinking, like, I would have the best time. I would enjoy the fuck out of my life if I just had everything I desire. But if you really think about it, and I want you to think about this even deeper, if you had everything you desired, what would be your motivation for creating, for working, for having a purpose, for showing up every day as the highest version of yourself, for learning, for educating yourself? What would be the purpose of any of this? If you just have everything that you wanted, you would have nothing left to learn, no more lessons to go through. You would have you just wouldn't have the motivation to keep on going, because that is why we are here. We are here to learn, to grow, to experience, to fall, to rise, and to go through lessons, to educate ourselves, to learn more, to strive for more, to go through experiences in order to get to that place where we have our desires. They're not supposed to just be given to us all at once, or we would be depressed. We would have no motivation, no purpose. And that is why a lot of the times when people win the lottery, for example, they end up committing suicide or they get really depressed because they don't have any purpose anymore. They don't have any motivation. They don't have any more goals. It just, everything was given to them. And they're like, okay, well, now what? What's the point of all of this? What do I do with my life now? And this is just to put into perspective that we're not meant to have all of our desires all at once. And even though you might think that that's what you want, it's really not. And it's not the key to our happiness. The key to our happiness is not to have more, or in getting the next thing, or in having everything that we desire, or in everything being perfect. Our happiness lies in fully surrendering to the present and appreciating the life that we have right now and actually living it. And I think for so long, I wasn't actually living my life. I was always trying to get to the next destination, and I was always striving for more. And what happened to me in the beginning of this year was I just didn't have the energy for that anymore. I was like, I just want to live. I want to slow down. I want to be at peace. I want to simplify my life. I want to read a book for 3 hours on a random Monday if that's what I want to do. I want to not be on social media so much so that I can actually be present. I don't want to take a picture of everything it is that I'm doing because I just want to live. I want to fill my life with more experiences, more simple moments. And I just don't want to strive for the next thing right now. And I think at first, when I was feeling this way, the reason I felt so dark and so depressed was because I felt like something was wrong with me. I was like, why do I not have the same motivation, the same drive that I've always had? Why do I not feel as connected to my purpose and to my business? Why do I not have the energy to do as many things in one day? Am I lazy? Like, what is happening to me? And am I not supposed to have a business anymore? Is this not my purpose? Like, why do I not feel as motivated? What is going on? And it took me a long time to realize how I was feeling and why I was feeling this way. But now that I finally come out on the other side, I realize that I was just changing and I'm growing into this new version of myself who desires different things. I don't care as much about acquiring more material things. I want to be happy with what I have right now. I want to live my life presently with what I have right now and with what my life looks like right now. And I want to fully enjoy it. And that's where my fulfillment comes for right now. And I also am having so much fun surrendering to the feminine side of me, the soft side of me, the peaceful side of me that just wants to take things at a slower pace, that wants to actually slow down and enjoy simple things like reading a book and listening to records and not having to have everything attached to getting more or for example, like I stopped reading personal development books because I'm like, I just want to read books for fun. I just want to watch TV for fun. Not everything has to be for the purpose of getting quote unquote better or becoming perfect or getting, you know, to be a better version of myself. Like, I just want to be with the version of myself that is right now. I went through so much to get here and to become her, and I want to enjoy her fully. And I want to enjoy my life fully the way that it is right now, and I want to be present. And this can feel really, really scary and really confusing if you've never been in this space before. And I had never been in this space before, so I was very confused with what was going on with me. And I was grieving a version of myself that no longer exists. And even if I wanted to go back to who I was even 6 months ago, I literally can't. I don't have it in me. I don't have the energy to hustle anymore or to work for 10 hours a day just simply to say that I worked 10 hours a day. And if you're an entrepreneur, this probably is relatable to you. You probably understand what I'm saying, but I felt that in order to be successful, in order to have the business that I desire, I needed to work 10-hour days just to feel successful, just to feel worthy, just to feel like I was doing something. But a lot of the times at the end of the day, even after being on my laptop for 10 hours, I was like, what did I actually do today? Like, I didn't actually do anything that was aligned with where it is that I want to go. So now I'm learning how to do less, but I'm learning how to do things that are actually in alignment and that feel good. And my phone is ringing from the other room, so sorry about that. Um, but I'm learning to actually do things that are in alignment and that are leading me to where I want to go versus just working to work, if that makes sense. So I'm learning to slow down and just be present and enjoy where I am right now without feeling like I have to be somewhere else, without striving for the next thing. And there's nothing wrong with having goals. There's nothing wrong with wanting to manifest more for your life. There's nothing wrong with wanting to change a certain aspect of yourself or change a certain aspect of your life or desire more for yourself. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think when that is our focus constantly and we don't have an equal balance between striving for more and enjoying where it is that we want right now, that's when our that's where our suffering comes from, and that's when we find ourselves feeling constantly unfulfilled, constantly anxious, and constantly depressed. So, I just wanted to share this with you because I know that somebody out there needs to hear this. That maybe the reason you're so depressed and you are so unfulfilled and you are feeling really lost and confused is because you aren't enjoying your life. You aren't enjoying where you are right now. And you don't need more in order to be happy. You don't need more in order to be fulfilled. Yes, it is always nice to have more of the things that we desire, but they are not going to ultimately lead to your happiness and to your fulfillment. You will only find that from doing the inner work. You will only find that from tuning inwards and feeling fulfilled from within, feeling fulfilled from the way that your life is right now, from accepting yourself as who you are right now and loving the fuck out of her and loving the fuck out of your life and enjoying that you have a roof over your head. You might not live in a mansion, but you have a roof over your head. If you're listening to this, you probably have a phone, you probably have a car, you probably have food in your fridge. And just that alone is so much. And I think we tend to forget that sometimes. We forget that we have so much already, so much to be grateful for, so much to be thankful for. And sometimes we just have to be with what is in order to actually get to the next place in our life. Because if we don't take the time to appreciate where we are, we actually won't even enjoy the next phase of our life because we're always again going to be looking for more. So enjoy where you are right now. Be grateful for what it is that you have right now. And I promise your life will start to get better. You will start to feel better. You will start to be happier. And it's not going to come from desiring the next material thing and from achieving that thing. So, with that being said, I love you. You are so worthy of all the things that you desire in your life, and you are so worthy of enjoying your life to the fullest in the season that you're in right now. And I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening and for supporting the show. It means the world to me. And I will see you soon. Bye.